It feels like every single day, machines are getting smarter, right? They're taking over jobs that used to take incredible human skill. And that creates this really fascinating tension, this paradox between our own creativity and the cold, hard precision of a machine. Today, we're going to explore that very paradox, but we're doing it at 30,000 feet. So let's just get right to it. Let's ask the big question right up front. Can a computer actually fly a commercial airliner better than a highly trained, experienced human pilot? Well, the answer is it's complicated. And to really get why, we need to dive into the technology that makes pretty much all modern flight possible. All right, so here's our flight plan for this one. We're going to start with the tech itself, what flying on wires even means. Then we'll look at why it can be genuinely superhuman. After that, we'll hit its biggest challenge. And finally, we'll solve what's called the pilot's paradox. Okay, first things first. Let's get a handle on the system that's at the very heart of the modern cockpit. It's called fly-by-wire, or FBW for short. Now, in the simplest terms, what this means is that when a pilot moves the controls, they're not physically pulling on a bunch of cables that go all the way to the wings and the tail. No. Instead, they're sending an electronic signal to a computer, and that computer then decides the best way to move the plane's control surfaces. Think about it like this. The old system was kind of like a marionette. The pilot pulls a string, a flap moves. It's a direct physical connection. But fly-by-wire? That's so much more like a really sophisticated video game controller. The pilot suggests an action, and this powerful computer in the middle interprets that request to execute it flawlessly. There's this intelligent layer sitting right between the pilot and the plane. And that intelligent layer is exactly why this system can be, well, truly superhuman. Let me show you what I mean. First off, let's talk about efficiency. A fly-by-wire system is making thousands of tiny micro-adjustments every single second, keeping the plane flying as smoothly and aerodynamically as possible. This constant, relentless optimization can actually lead to fuel savings of up to 20%. I mean, no human pilot, no matter how skilled they are, can possibly match that level of constant, tiny course correction. But the biggest argument really is safety. The computer has hard-coded rules that it absolutely will not break. It's a feature called flight envelope protection. It will physically prevent a pilot from making a maneuver that would stall the plane or put too much stress on the wings. It's basically a digital guardian angel, constantly maintaining stability, cutting down on routine work, and protecting against common mistakes. So yeah, the system is like a co-pilot that never gets tired, never gets distracted, and always operates with pure mathematical precision. For 99% of any given flight, it is nearly perfect. So perfect, in fact, that it forces us to ask a really tough question. But what about that other 1%? This brings us to the unforeseen challenge, those moments where the machine's greatest strengths actually become its biggest weaknesses. And here is the fundamental question that pretty much haunts all automation. What happens when the system runs into something it was never ever programmed to expect? What happens when the real world throws a curveball that just doesn't fit the code? A machine's logic is perfect, but only within its defined rules. It has no ability to improvise. It can't pull from a lifetime of completely unrelated experiences to solve a new problem. Human intuition, on the other hand, well, that's where we shine. We thrive in these unique edge cases, those situations that happen once in a million flights. I mean, just think about the miracle on the Hudson. After a double bird strike completely wiped out both engines at a low altitude, the plane's computers had no answer, nothing. It was a scenario so far outside its programming that it couldn't offer a single solution. It took Captain Sullenberger's decades of experience and pure human judgment to size up an impossible situation and decide to land on a river. That's a moment that requires creativity and an intuitive feel for the aircraft. And right now, those are qualities that only belong to us. So how do we resolve this conflict between the perfect, logical machine and the creative, sometimes messy, human? The answer isn't about choosing one over the other. It's not a competition. The safest, most effective system we have is one that combines the absolute best of both. It's all about partnership. So the new model, it looks something like this. First, you automate the routine stuff. Let the machine do what it does best. Fly perfectly, fly efficiently. Second, the human's role changes to one of monitoring. They become the strategic overseer, watching the system, understanding it, and being ready to take command in a split second. And third, when that one in a million crisis hits, the human innovates. They bring ingenuity to a problem the machines simply cannot comprehend.
And that, right there, is the paradox of automation. The more we automate, the more we take the human out of the loop for the day-to-day tasks. But that makes their role as the final safety net, the last line of defense for those unexpected moments, more critical than ever before. The most advanced systems are, ironically, the ones that need a skilled human the most for when things go completely off the rails.
So I'll leave you with this thought, because this isn't really just about airplanes. As automation starts taking the controls in our cars, in our workplaces, in all parts of our daily lives, this very same paradox is going to apply. We need to start consciously deciding, what is the role we actually want humans to play? What's the job we need to be ready for when the programming finally meets its match?